Hello and welcome to the practical on how to create a client rat, or a bot, a client rat bot that will be able to connect to our server. So to start off, we are going to fire up our Visual Studio Code. So go to the bottom and type in Visual Studio and then look for it over here and just click on it to launch Microsoft Visual Studio. And so this is how it looks like when it's launched. For me, I've got several other projects already. For your case, this will be empty. The first thing we need to do is create a folder for our projects. So open your C drive and then create a new folder. Here, just right click here and click folder. We will call it Red Projects 3. Red Projects 3. So all our projects will be put in this folder. Now we come back to our Visual Studio Code and then here click on Create New Project. Select C#, Windows, Console. You can drop down this and select Console. And then here select Console App.NET Framework. Click Next. And here change the name of the project. Call it Redpot. Solution name, let it be the same, and then here navigate to your new folder which you have created, which is your Red Projects 3. So this is the new project, the new folder, and then now click on Create. You then create a basic template with some code already inserted for you. The namespace is unique. It uniquely identifies your project Redbot. This is the name of the project. Inside here is a class, so every time you create a new program, it will be a class. This is object-oriented programming. Everything is based on classes. And then this is the name of your class. So whenever you create a class for console app, the default name is program, and every program has got a main method. In C#, the functions are called methods. So this is a function. We usually call functions methods in C#. So there's always a main method which begins the start of the program. Every time this program starts, it will look for the main method and start from here. These are command line arguments which you can pass to your program if you are running this from the command line. Most of the time we just ignore it, we don't change anything, leave it as it is. Static means that you can run this program, this method, without instantiating an object. In object-oriented programming, whenever you want to use a object, you must first create an object from the class. But in this case, because this is the first program, this is the first class, there is no object, so therefore you have to have a static. Static means you can run the method without first creating an object. So now inside here, what we want to do is create a variable, an object, call it WebClient. We use the static keyword because this is all being done without creating objects. So WebClient, the object name is WebClient, new WebClient. So in object-oriented programming, whenever you want to create object out of the class, you use a constructor. This is the constructor. So whenever you want to call a constructor for a class, you must use the new keyword. Then you give a name of the object that you want to create, and then the type of class that you want to create from. So as you can see, when I type WebClient here, we see the red underlined squiggly line. This means that something is wrong. So just hover your mouse over it and then click on Show Potential Fixes. Then these are the possible fixes. The one we want is this, using SystemNet. So click on this. So it will insert this library that contains this class. Now that the error goes away. On the top here, these are all the libraries that you want to use. The word using means to import a library. So these are all libraries which contains definition of several methods that you can use. So in this case, we are using this one, systemnet. The grayed out part means that you have not used those methods, those classes yet, although you import them. The solid black one means that you're already using it in here. For example, over here, web client is coming from system.net. So what is a web client? A web client is a web browser, but in the program form. So this will take the place of your Google Chrome or your Firefox browser, and you can use this to connect to the server. So now we are going to create a perpetual while loop, while true. So in programming, a while loop allows you to loop over and over again. So when you put true here, that means you want to loop perpetually, non-stop. That is the meaning of true. So the condition here is always true. Therefore, it makes it loop perpetually. But because it loops perpetually, you need to pause it. Otherwise, it will consume a lot of your CPU resources. So in order to pause it, you can use the system threading sleep method. System.threading.thread.sleep. And here you can specify how long you will sleep. Put 2000 milliseconds. And when you are about to type in the parameters, this helpful pop-up will show you how the usage of this function, this method sleep. So sleep method comes from the thread class, which comes from the threading class, which comes from the system class. So here, put a semicolon to end the expression. So this while loop will loop, and then every time it loops, you pause 2000 milliseconds, then loop again, and then pause 2000 milliseconds and loop again. So it loops every 2 seconds. And then from here, every time it loops, we want to download something from the server. Alright, so in order to download something from the server, we have to use the web client. Use the web client. So we can type something like this, web client dot download. You see, when you type this IntelliSense, this is called IntelliSense. IntelliSense try to predict what you want to do, so it helpfully shows you the completion for this. So if you want to accept this completion, you just press tab key and it completes for you. See that? Very helpful. This is the power of Visual Studio. So over here, you can put in the parameter for this. So the parameter for this is your web server. So you can just key in your web server here, which is for me it's 192.168.56.101. And then we are going to connect to PHP scripts which I have not yet written, but we are going to write soon. Or you can just put index.php. Index.php. Alright, so this is the default web page, index.php. So once you are going to download something from this index.php and then save it in a string. So we have to declare a string here. Maybe you can say command from server or string from server, like this, string from server. So when it connects to index.php, index.php will echo a string. So the string which comes back will be stored in this variable called string from server. Okay, and then once you receive that, you can just print up by using console.writeLine. Just press the tab key when you see this, and it will complete for you. Alright, so let's save this now. Over here, you can change this to release. Debug means it will allow you to debug this inside your workspace. If you're not going to debug, you can just change it to release. Then save it and then build. Click here and build. Okay, in order to run this, you press Control Function F5. Then it will run. So now it is looping every 2000 milliseconds. It's looping, but nothing is happening because there is no server to connect to. Alright, so we are going to fix that now. We close this and then we fire up our server over here. Our server, start it. If you did not install a virtual machine, but instead you install your server on the host, then you don't have to start your virtual machine. So what we want to do is to start the XMPP server on the virtual machine. If you have your XMPP installed on your host, then you can directly go and start it on your host. So for me, I'm going to go here and find my XMPP server and start it. Start server, start the SQL as well, and then I'm going to modify my index PHP. So I'll have to go to my htdocs folder. And now I'm going to open my index PHP, and here I'm going to echo something back. Alright, I'm going to delete this bottom part and just leave only this part, and save it. Save. Alright, so now I can come back to this program, my client, my red bot, and then run this again by pressing Control Function F5. Can you see that? You're getting this string every 2000 milliseconds. You get this from the server. So how it works is, every 2000 milliseconds it will loop. Each time it loops, it will connect to the server at this address, and then at this it will fetch this index PHP. So when it calls the index PHP, it will execute. It will execute on the server. So when the server executes index PHP, it will echo back this string. So this string will be sent back to your client. So when your client receives this string, it will store in this variable called string from server. So string from server then will be printed out to the screen using console write line, and that is why you're seeing this every 2000 milliseconds. You are seeing this. So let's do an experiment. Let's try to change the string here, see what happens. So let's say I change the string here. Say hello. Save it. So now let's see what happens. See that? Say hello. So now every 2000 milliseconds it's going to fetch the string from the server, from the echo, and then it will display here. Now we can make use of this characteristic to execute a command. Now supposing when your client receives say hello, it will pop up. You want your client to do something. Let's say we want the client to pop up a message box with a hello message. How do we do that? Okay, let's close this first. Now note that you can also click this to run your client directly, alright? And it just gives you this nag telling you can continue debugging without the debug build. Just continue debugging, and then you can see say hello coming out there. It's the same thing. Alright? The other way to run your client is to go to your build folder. So your build folder, remember, is your red project tree, red board again. There's a bin folder. Inside it you have your debug and release. So whenever you click select the release build, your exe will be created in here, and then you can run it from here like this. See that? So it's connecting to the server and fetching the string. Okay, if you have selected debug build from here and then click on build, then you can go to your debug folder and get the debug version. Debug version will be bigger because it contains debugging symbols inserted. If you are going to do this for release, then you should select the release build instead of the debug build. So these are the different ways you can run. Okay, so now let's do something useful. Let's say we want the server to send a command to the client to show a message box. So what we can do is we can test. So I think this video is getting long. I will pause here and we'll continue this in the next lesson. Thank you for watching.